For many of us, it is just a bird. It has its wings, it flies. We could maybe identify it as a raptor. Some well-informed people would say it is some kind of falcon. That's correct. However, only a professional would be able to determine the species. He would say Falco vespertinus in Latin, red-footed falcon in English. Our scientists call it often a vespertinus. We would probably say, nice. It's really nice. But you should know that none of us will probably see him in the open space. You are watching unique shots because there are only a few of these falcons in our country. 30 years ago it was quite different though. In the southwest and east of our country we had more than 100 of them. A little exaggeratedly said it has been a common species until recently. This collocation of words doesn't surprise us anymore. Somehow we got used to the fact that various species had been vanishing from our nature one after another. Shouldn't we care much? Imagine you are a falcon. You fly over a landscape looking for food. You watch over voles, locusts, or dragonflies. From your experience you know that the most of the prey tend to be in the vegetation margins. But where are those margins? And why are there so few of them? What is the grass with food? This is a view of a raptor flying over today's Slovakia. And this is the view a bit further of Austria on the same day. Now the flying bird is coming closer to our border again, and huge monoculture fields of Slovakia are emerging in front of it. From the live organisms of our planet, only a human is able to live in any environment. He can adjust it in his own image. He can protect himself against unfavorable conditions. Animals and birds live only in those places in which they can find enough food and raise their young ones. Those of which the demands are at least a little overlapped with the human activity are able to survive in the country changed by the people. Others are connected to the nature with only thin threads, and if they are torn, they will soon vanish. It has been going from bad to worse. Okay then, but how was it 20 or 30 years ago? If I remember correctly, 30 years ago red-footed falcons nested at 19 localities of the southwestern Slovakia. After that we kept monitoring the population. By the end of the 90s it was still getting worse, and in 22 they nested at 2 localities only. Eventually, in 2012, not a single pair nested here. Just sad. Well, what can you do? Red-footed falcon has its characteristic demands on a country. It is a forest steppe species living in colonies which can nest only in the areas up to 300 meters above sea level. That's one of the reasons why there are not many regions of its occurrence here. The second condition of its nesting is a sufficient amount of abandoned nests of magpies, rooks or crows. It doesn't build nests itself, so it has to rely on them. Last but not least, there has to be enough suitable food in the vicinity of the nests, such as voles, small amphibians and bigger insect species most of all. It may seem that it shouldn't be that difficult to find such places in our country, which would combine all these three seemingly banal conditions. However, the huge monoculture fields of Slovakia, being under attack of chemical sprays year after year, do not make it easy. Those are sterile areas in which most of the animals hardly find some food. Can you see life or food for animals here? Is it really necessary to put so much poison into the soil year after year, only so that the weeds wouldn't grow? Those poisons are a serious threat to us people too, after all. All we need is to use fewer chemicals, make the area smaller and replace it properly with perennial fodder crops. It's not just about the red-footed falcon. This would mostly help us, the people, and other bird species such as hoopoes, rollers, bustards, partridges, quails, which are endangered as much as the red-footed falcon. These are the bare facts, and many other reasons are not doing well here for the same reasons. But we are now focused on our red-footed falcons. These birds of prey are characteristic by its distinct sexual dimorphism. The males are still grey with red pants. The females have a grey-brown back with creamy, often even bricky red shade on breasts. In the first year of life, both of the sexes are colored the same. The different coloring shows itself in the second calendar year. They usually fly from Africa to the Carpathian basin in May. It is just in the time when young crows, magpies or rooks leave their nests. These remain unoccupied and the falcons take advantage of it. Ideal nesting sites are rooks, colonies which were once falcons, favored mainly in the east of Slovakia. But there are less and less of these colonies, which is another reason for falcons to go badly here. For reasons that are difficult to comprehend, rooks are still hunted in our country. None of the numbers of serious researchers ever confirmed that they were harmful to hunted animals. Their shooting of magpies and crows became a sort of tradition which the hunters are not willing to let go. For this reason, there are only few natural nests. Fortunately, these falcons can nest also in the man-made nest boxes. A male falcon is just about to alight with the prey. It looks like some kind of bigger locust or something like that it has in its beak. There, he arrived to the nest. The chick took the food and it's gone. Last year this locality was occupied by one pair, but it did not breed here. This year we noticed a male already in April. Now they are feeding their nestlings, so we're glad. Last year not a single pair of these falcons nested in our country. Now we are full of hope again. We feast our eyes on these beautiful sights, and we are determined to do everything for these beautiful birds to come back here next year again. Within the project Conservation of Red-footed Falcon in the Carpathian Basin, we have started to work on the improvement of its nesting conditions. In the course of a year, we placed more than 300 nest boxes and beds in the historical nesting sites in order to replace the lack of natural nests in our agricultural land. The nest boxes are hung rather densely, often even 2 or 3 on one tree, to allow for the biological needs of this species. In the meantime, we are negotiating with hunters on the possibilities of stopping the shooting of corvids as important nest builders for our falcons. In spring, we bring fruiter and vineyard pairings which support their nesting activity. There are bigger nests and mats in such colonies supported by branches. We also motivate the farmers to use more environment-friendly procedures of soil cultivation. In suitable places we plant more than 1,000 of original woody plants. We do not underestimate the objective informing of the public. In the subject areas we also build information boards. Really? Vespertinuses? Yes, we found the 3rd pair in Slovakia. I saw a female flying around here before with a male, but it haven't demonstrated itself until now. Now it's squawking, and because of that I could find her in this magpie nest. Excellent, it's excellent. Finally we have more pairs. Now we have 3. In 2012 there was none. In 2013 there was 1, and this year there are 3. We are very, very happy. Yeah, hooray! Our hope that this last red-footed falcon population in Slovakia will get itself together has been raised. We keep a very eye on it. We also check the other historical nesting sites on a regular basis in which we hung many nest boxes too. Our falcons have not returned here though. However, the nest boxes are full of life. To the broad nesting offer, common kestrels and long-eared owls responded immediately. We ring their nestlings. It is a significant method of bird movement research. Subsequent identification of a ring brings highly valuable data.
Super!
In some localities, more than half of the nest boxes are occupied. The interest is great. He's finally fed up. It is a fantasy. The area of Hungarian puszta is almost untouched by intensive farming. There is enough grass covers with a large amount of insects and rodents. We came to learn from them and to get to know this species better. The Hungarian colleagues have more than 1,000 pairs of red-footed falcons and rich experience with their preservation. In order to film and observe the falcons, there are several special tree stands directly in one of the colonies from which you can see directly in nest boxes and nests. The chicks had already flown away and the nest boxes were empty, so we went to see the conditions in which the local ornithologists observe and film the falcons. In here it's so easy. There's no difficulty in making a good picture when a falcon alights here. You have the camera in a tripod and you feel comfortable. They did a good job here. A lonely female bird arrived only randomly. It is sitting here not at all knowing we are only in a distance of 5 meters from it. Now we fully appreciate the benefits of this kind of tree stand. In the surrounding puszta there are a lot of falcons, so we are going to see them. The atmosphere of the local landscape is complemented by the stills and the cattle freely feeding on grass. It is raining. The falcons are mostly sitting around. They hunt only when the rain abates a little. Except for the short breaks, it has been raining for the whole 3 days. The filming is becoming problematic. In spite of the weather, we were thrilled by this country. To laymen, the Hungarian puszta might seem too monotonous. But that life all over. It is quite incredible how many rare animal and plant species occur here. We are astonished by the sight. More than 30 falcons are sitting on a single tree, which is far more than in the whole Slovakia. The look on a flock of rooks of nearly 2,000, which is coming to spend the night in the forest of the size of 2 football fields, is breathtaking. We cannot help but compare this with our country, in which by excessive chemization and huge monocultures we are ruining our life around us. Those are not falcons, but pigeons and turtle doves. Look there! Chemistry again. Look there. Look, vespertinus, male. Finally, the first. Excellent. This is a magpie's nest and red-footed falcons. Falco vespertinus in it. We're going to look closer. This is the last nest we found in 2016. There are the nestlings, 4 beautiful nestlings. We are going to ring them in a week, when they are stronger. Now they are too small for it. Finally, in 2016, 5 pairs successfully nested at Cislovské Polia. It was a great pleasure to observe also a female bird from Hungary. Its origin was obvious because of the colorful rings on its legs. It's kind of a small proof the red-footed falcon may spread from the Hungarian puszta also to the northwest to our country too. It confirms our supposition that there's a chance for their return even to the abandoned localities of Slovakia. Only if they find suitable conditions here, of course. And that's the problem in our country. Larger shots, smaller shots. We can mention also some other cases. For instance, 10 years ago, in Ulanska Mokrat, the nest of red-footed falcons were illegally shot out during the shooting at the magpies' nests. While these birds are harmless to the hunted animals and they are even useful for farmers thanks to their eating of voles and insects. In 2012, the nesting site of red-footed falcons in Tvrdoshovce ceased to exist owing to the fact that in the vicinity of the village the crops unsuitable for this species had started to be grown in the larger extent. It was the crops such as maize, rapeseed, sunflower in which there is a less natural food for the species such as rodents, lizards and big insect species. Another great threat for red-footed falcons is the improper poisoning of rodents. Farmers often oversimplify their work by scattering the poison on the soil instead of pouring it directly to the holes. The individuals poisoned in this way may be eaten by the falcons, which will subsequently die. We have recorded such a case near Dunajská Streda. Due to the above-ground poison application, the whole colony of 10 to 15 pairs of red-footed falcons became extinct, and it has not been recovered till today. We set out again to see the falcons in the Hungarian Hortobágy. Our friend from the last year is waiting for us. It's Attila.
Hi.
Ranger. On our way we learn that this time the nest boxes near the tree stand are quite lively as there are nestlings in all of them. We are only getting out the car and our cameraman is already recording the arrival of a European roller. Neither is it nesting in Slovakia. The causes of its extinction in our country are almost the same as in the red-footed falcon. We are promptly assuming position on the tree stand. We are keenly watching the activities outside. There will be a change. Doesn't matter, I will shoot the detail. Don't you see? The female brings, and male too. Look, look, he's going to feed the young ones. There they are, in front of us. Look, it's beautiful. leave the lookout around noon. Surrounding biotopes are appealing too. We want to record them and to understand why the falcons got to like them so much. It's rather hot and the pusta seems a bit parched. Cattle are freely feeding on grass all around. As we walk, numerous various locusts and insects are dancing under our feet. The Hungarian pusta is one of the largest close to the nature meadows in the Central Europe. It is an ideal biotope not only for the life of insects, but also for many other steppe species of animals. Natural rhythm of plant life in this area allows insects to undergo all the stages of development here. And the birds follow them. That's why the life here is so diverse. The grazing cattle help the low plants not to be suppressed by the higher ones, and by their excrements they supply the soil with enough nutrients. Perfect circle of life. It's a shame that by the human impact there are less and less of such areas. We get into the harmony which this country is. Today is a big day. After long years we are going to ring the red-footed falcons in Slovakia. We have 5 nests and in each of them there are 4 nestlings. 20 chicks is an incredible outcome, and thanks to that glimmer of hope that we have grew little. Please write down the combinations. Left foot, 3, 5, 4. The round circle has got only color. It is without any number. The rings we use are made of the colors which we were assigned according to the international scheme. It may seem to some people that there is too much of these rings, but for now it is really necessary for protection of this species. We even recognize the female falcon from Hungary by this scheme. We get to know their migration paths with all their threats and all the places they winter at. Thus we can understand and protect them better. A few days later, all the chicks flew out the nests. We monitor them regularly and we can't grow tired of these sights. In September, when they get stronger, they will set on far away under the Earth's equator to Botswana or Namibia. If they return next year, they will have flown more than 20,000 kilometers. Not all the falcons are that successful though. Many die of exhaustion in bad weather during the migration. Others die for some other reasons caused mainly by the human. Improper power lines have also a large share on this. We believe that our falcons are able to avoid all these dangers which come from everywhere. Now they are staying near the nesting site, eating, recovering their strengths. We recognize them by their rings. We record the numbers of rings thoroughly. The next spring we will be waiting patiently whether some of them will return. Have a safe flight and successful comeback, fellas. We don't leave anything to chance, and we continue to work on the improvement of the conditions for falcons. We check all the localities in which we installed all the nesting boxes and clean those in which something nested. They are full of pellets which have to be removed so that no parasites will reproduce. We put some small rocks not only for hollowing the nesting hole, but also for draining the rainwater and excessive moisture from the sitting. The nesting boxes are being taken care of in this way so that the healthy individuals fly from them. We repair also all the old and damaged nest boxes and install new ones. Our objective is for the falcons to find an optimal nesting offer and variable biotopes in their spring return. That's the reason why we plant more trees too. Mainly in Tvrdošovce, too many nesting trees dried out during summer, and that really endangers the existence of the rook's colony. Its extinction would be a great loss to the surrounding nature and the whole ecosystem. It is one of the last colonies outside the residential area which the falcons still may return to. We do everything for this small forest to be preserved and to prosper in the next years. It's amazing, incredible. Last year we put reading rings on 20 chicks, and this year 4 of them have returned from Africa. I have recorded and taken pictures of all of them. Even the Hungarian female falcon with its green ring has returned. So we are really very glad. This year we experienced one more very pleasant surprise. More red-footed falcons than we have ever imagined arrived from Africa. Eventually 16 pairs nested at Sislovské Polia. This colony is alive again. We are happy, and in July we ring 41 nestlings while feeling satisfied. Which one are we going? 6, 5, 1, 9? They have grown legs already. It's going better.
Posledné mláďatko. Tak. Toto va?
Super.
Dobre, dáme ho. A idete domov.
They all have flown out successfully. During this year, full of hope, we checked also the other historical nesting sites in Slovakia. We hope that in such a productive year, our falcons would come back here too. The nest boxes are full of life, but we have found only common kestrels and long-eared owls. Our vespertinuses have not come here yet. In spite of that, we don't give up and continue to do everything in our powers. We believe that our vespertinuses will come back here too. We made the first step and improved their nesting conditions in the form of nest boxes and mats. However, it is just one small part of a rather big jigsaw puzzle. It can be done without improving the diet supply and revitalizing the biotopes. In this we can only work together, and that includes more active help of farmers and legislative adjustment. We don't claim that there should be grass and bosks everywhere. Even we the people need to live on something to grow enough food. But there are more considerated ways of farming, and those have to be put into practice. By that the country will be healthier and more beautiful. This way we could help not only the life around us, but mainly us. We keep on searching for the farmers with close relationship to the nature, and together we are looking for the ways of their involvement in the agri-environment schemes. It is their technological procedures and crop rotation which have the greatest impact on the visual aspect of an agricultural landscape and quality of lowland biotopes. It is mainly up to them whether while going for a walk with children we will look only at nicely cultivated fields with no life, or we will be able to enjoy the singing of birds, the small animals, and feel that life is still here. We have just received an incredible news from France. Thanks to the rings, one of our falcons ringed this year was identified by the local ornithologist. This is really valuable information. Thanks to that, we know that the falcons are migrating to Africa and by the southwestern migration path. I believe that eventually more reports will come, and that way we will get even more important data. The importance of ringing shows itself to be valuable again. A bird of prey feeding its nestlings. What a beautiful sight. Now you had a taste of it, and you know that it was not so long ago when this species had been a rather common one in our country. Due to the intensive human activity, it had been vanishing little by little, and in 2012 it did not nest here at all. Now, as if by magic, a single colony in Slovakia braced its energies. We haven't won yet though. There are a lot of risks. However, we hope that we all learned from our mistakes, and the time has come in which we start to think not only economically but also ecologically, so that the life around us would be preserved too. Red-footed falcons. Maybe with your help too, their population is growing, and eventually we will be able to say to ourselves, this beautiful raptor is nesting here again. It would mean that as farmers we take good care of our country that is healthy and suitable for the life of all of us.